Espresso. The absolute foundation of almost every coffee drink on the planet is espresso. It's a highly concentrated coffee made by forcing hot water through finely ground beans under massive pressure. The result? A small, dense, intense shot crowned with a thick layer of golden foam known as crema. The word espresso comes from Italian, roughly meaning pressed out, a literal description of the world's most popular brewing method.
And getting it right is a science. Its quality is driven by grind size, water temperature, pressure, and the barista's skill. Next up is the latte. Take that bold espresso shot, drown it in silky steamed milk, and finish it with a thin layer of foam. The heavy dose of milk smooths out the bitter edges, creating a creamy, easy-to-sip beverage that took over the world. In Italian, cafe latte literally just translates to coffee with milk. It usually rocks a very mild ratio of 1 part coffee to 3 or 4 parts milk. And those beautiful foam designs? Latte art actually exploded out of Seattle's specialty coffee scene back in the 1980s before spreading across the globe. Next up, the Americano. It's elegantly simple, just a solid shot of espresso diluted with hot water. While it mimics the volume of a classic drip coffee, it packs a totally different, richer character thanks to how that espresso base is brewed. Legend has it, this drink was born in Italy during World War II. US soldiers stationed there found the traditional local espresso way too intense. Their fix? Just add hot water. It preserves that signature espresso flavor, but makes the drink lighter and much less aggressive. Let's jump to a global icon, the cappuccino. The golden rule here is perfect thirds, equal parts espresso, steamed milk, and a thick, airy layer of milk foam. But where did the name come from? It's actually named after the Catholic Capuchin friars. The drink's color perfectly matched their brown robes, and that foam on top? It resembles their iconic hoods. If you're in Italy, this is strictly a morning drink. Locals firmly believe that heavy milk content will completely wreck your digestion if you drink it later in the day. Of course, today you'll find endless variations. Swapping milk for heavy cream, using non-dairy alternatives, or hitting it with a heavy dusting of cocoa or cinnamon. Craving a perfect cross between coffee and hot chocolate? That's the Mocha. It's basically a latte but upgraded with a rich dose of chocolate syrup or cocoa powder mixed directly into the espresso. But the name has nothing to do with chocolate today. It actually comes from the ancient port city of Mocha in Yemen, which was a massive hub for the global coffee trade centuries ago. Yemeni beans had a naturally sweet, chocolatey flavor profile. Over time, the name became permanently associated with the combination of coffee and chocolate. Fun fact: the Dutch later smuggled these plants to the island of Java. Mixing the bright Yemeni beans with earthy Javanese coffee created the world's very first commercial blend, Mocha Java. Now let's travel back in time for Turkish coffee, one of the oldest brewing methods still widely used today. The secret? Beans are ground into an ultrafine, almost powder-like state, then simmered directly in a small pot called a sezve along with water and sugar. The catch? It's never filtered. The heavy grounds settle at the bottom of your cup, so you literally have to stop drinking before you reach them. Born in the Ottoman Empire in the 1500s, it sparked some of the world's very first coffee houses in Istanbul. And those leftover grounds? People still read the patterns to tell your fortune. Think eggs and coffee don't mix. Think again. Vietnamese egg coffee was born purely out of necessity in Hanoi back in 1946. During a time when fresh milk was incredibly scarce, a clever bartender at the Sofitel Legend Metropole Hotel found a genius substitute. He whipped egg yolks with sugar and condensed milk to replace the missing dairy, spooning this rich, custard-like mixture over strong Vietnamese coffee. The result is often described as liquid tiramisu. It was such a massive hit that the creator eventually opened his own spot, Giang Cafe, which his family still runs today. Let's cool things down with cold brew. And no, it is absolutely not the same as iced coffee, which is just hot coffee poured over ice. Instead of heat, this brewing method uses time. Coarse coffee grounds are steeped slowly in cold water for anywhere from 12 to 24 hours. Why wait that long? Without hot water, the bitter and acidic compounds never extract. You're left with a naturally smooth, sweet drink that needs zero added sugar. It exploded commercially in the US around 2015 and took over the globe. The best part? It has a massive shelf life and stays perfectly fresh in your fridge for up to 2 weeks. Think coffee and cheese is a weird combo? Meet Kaffeost. It literally translates to coffee cheese, a centuries-old tradition from the Sami people of northern Finland and Sweden. Cubes of a mild, squeaky cheese called juustoleipä are dropped directly into your cup. It doesn't melt, but acts like a sponge, softening and soaking up all that rich coffee flavor. The ritual is simple. You drink the coffee first, then use a spoon to eat the coffee-soaked cheese. It has a texture just like halloumi or fresh cheese curds. Let's head to Mexico for Café de olla, which literally translates to coffee from the pot. Ground coffee is simmered in a traditional clay pot alongside cinnamon and piloncillo, an unrefined brown sugar that adds a deep, molasses-like flavor. Next is the Gibraltar, widely known in most places as the Cortado. It's a perfectly balanced 1-to-1 ratio of espresso and steamed milk. That little bit of milk is just enough to cut the acidity and round out the flavor. It's the ultimate sweet spot if a latte is too milky, but a straight espresso is just a bit too sharp. The name Gibraltar actually comes from the iconic Libby glass it's traditionally served in, a massive trend that kicked off in San Francisco in the early 2000s. Need fuel instead of just caffeine? Meet Bulletproof coffee. It's brewed coffee blended with grass-fed butter and a splash of MCT oil, a fat derived from coconuts. The concept was popularized by entrepreneur Dave Asprey in 2011. He got the idea after hiking in Tibet and trying their traditional high-energy yak butter tea. It quickly became a massive trend for keto and low-carb diets. Drinkers swear those heavy fats replace a normal breakfast and give you long-lasting, crash-free energy. Need a massive sugar and caffeine rush? Enter the Café Cubano. It's a tiny, intensely sweet espresso shot that originated in Cuba. What makes it special is the espuma. You make this thick, sugary foam by aggressively whipping sugar with just the very first darkest drops of the espresso. Pour the rest of the shot over this sweet paste, and you get a rich, high-octane drink that completely fuels Miami's Little Havana neighborhood today. Now for the rarest, most expensive, and most controversial drink on the list, Kopi Luwak. These beans are literally eaten and passed through the digestive system of a small animal called the Asian palm civet. Why? Stomach enzymes break down the bean's proteins, completely stripping away the bitterness. The idea actually started because Dutch colonizers forbade Indonesian farmers from picking coffee for themselves. The beans are collected from droppings, perfectly cleaned, and roasted, selling for hundreds of dollars a pound. Sadly, massive demand today means many civets are kept in tiny cages, making ethically sourced wild beans extremely rare. Remember 2020? The internet was completely taken over by Dalgona coffee. You make it by aggressively whipping equal parts instant coffee, sugar, and hot water until it forms a thick, fluffy cloud. Spoon that heavy foam over a glass of cold milk and stir. It was named by a South Korean actor after a local sugar candy with the exact same color and texture after he tried a similar drink in Macau. While it exploded globally on TikTok in weeks, the exact same technique had actually been popular for years in India, Pakistan, and Libya under the name beaten coffee. Let's spice things up with Café Touba, the absolute most consumed beverage in Senegal. It's brewed with coffee and a West African spice called psyllium pepper, plus a few cloves. It delivers a warm, slightly medicinal kick and is even considered a sacred drink by the Mooride Brotherhood. Can't decide between coffee and tea? Head to Hong Kong for a Yuenyeung. It's a 1950s diner staple made of 1 part coffee and 2 parts creamy milk tea. It's named after the Mandarin duck, where males and females look totally different but make a perfect pair. And finally, the ultimate plot twist: Scandinavian egg coffee. Forget milk. You mix a whole raw egg, sometimes even the shell, straight into dry coffee grounds before boiling. That's the heavy hitters, but to hit our 26 mark, here's the rapid-fire honorable mentions. The silky flat white, Spain's sweet café Bombon, the foamy Greek frappé, the original iced mazagran, the ancient Ethiopian buna, the spiced Arabic coffee, and the liquid tiramisu Vietnamese egg coffee. 26 ways to wake up. Which one are you brewing first? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more.